Hello everybody. We have another game in the rapid speedrun against Sandro Farias Silverio, rated 1078. He starts with e4 and then bishop c4. So far so good. We play d6 hitting the center. We now develop a minor piece towards the center and attack his hanging pawn. He now has to respond. It's a forcing move. Why do they always do this? I don't get it. And we've played a number of speedrun games where they just throw their queen to f3 trying to get some type of, I don't even know, but there's a knight in the way. Do they know this? Can they see this piece? There's a knight here. You can't go through the knight. It's not a ghost. So this does not create a threat. It blocks his f-pawn. It blocks the best square for his knight, and it turns his queen into a prime beefy target. Terrible move. Okay, we're going to develop another minor piece towards the center and specifically towards central squares that target this dumb queen, misplaced queen. That's going to send it back home because it also comes with a threat on the c2 square, which is a fork. Alternatively, we can go knight e5. This forces us to win at the bishop pair because he has to move his queen. We're going to take the bishop. We immediately get the bishop pair. Very nice. If we go here, he has to go back to protect the pawn. So do we want to send the queen home or do we want the bishop pair? Let's go for the bishop pair. I don't mind his queen being here. He could keep it there. So we get the best of both worlds. Instead of moving his queen, I don't know, somewhere else, he goes home anyway. And then we get to take the bishop pair. Just a quick second to make sure we don't have some other devastating move. Okay. And now we ruined his structure. He took this way, which means he undefended his central pawn, which is terrible because now we take it. You could just develop, but I think it's very important to take that pawn specifically in the center now, because once he defends it, that's going to be a nice central pawn for him, an asset. I do think we want to take the time out from development to grab that pawn. I think it's a very important pawn. Unlike the b pawns, when players often grab b pawns, I generally think that's a waste of time, even if the engine likes it. But I do think taking the central pawn is not a waste of time. So he puts his queen, instead of developing like here to hit the knight and leaving room for the knight, he just insists on putting his queen here because I guess he loves this king square, but he doesn't even have the bishop anymore to coordinate, so he's just a very stubborn guy. So he's hitting the knight. Okay, we can easily move the knight back, perfectly fine. We could try to defend it, but I don't think there's a good way to defend it. You don't want to push your pawn. So let's just keep it simple. Go back where we came from. This knight loves this square, defending the king. White develops a knight. It controls central squares. And now we want to develop. We want to get out fast. We want to castle. We're up a pawn. His queen is in a weird spot. Boom. We go e5. He has no pawns in the center. Nothing to contest us. We're definitely going to put a pawn in the center and seize it and make space for our bishop and control these squares. So now white can't develop the knight here. He goes here, but we just played e5, so the knight's completely dominated. Okay, we're going to continue. The knight going here, it's not an effective square. We're just going to develop our bishop without thinking or calculating, just so we can castle. This is a development move that prepares king safety, can't be bad. On the other hand, a4, not development, not king safety, can be bad, is bad. Not only does it not meet any of the criteria I've set for you guys, but it also creates a huge hole here. Sure, this hole can be met one day, but this move has to be useless. I mean, what the heck what does this have to do with anything in the game that we're doing right now? But that's his problem. Without calculating, we castle. King safety. Move 11, we're castled, out of the way. He's moving more pawns, creating more weaknesses, threatening nothing, not developing, not castling. We don't care. We're just going to develop. We're just going to castle. So we can do a bunch of things, but what's the best one? It's hard to say what the best is because we have so many cool options. I suppose we'll just start with a simple developing move. I know a lot of you guys want to go here. Notice it hangs the pawn. That's not really a big deal. You could definitely move your rook over, let him take another one, and take here. And his queen taking that pawn doesn't matter. Waste of time. It's who cares? But I'm going to develop here. Am I? I'm going to develop my bishop here. It controls the center, develops another piece, and threatens to go on this diagonal and win this pawn. If he takes this, I don't care because my rook can't get in the game. If he takes this pawn, now I can get it in the game easily. So I want him to take this pawn. So he moves this pawn out of harm's way, which is fine. I mean, it was a doubled pawn. I could still go there anyway. It's kind of a waste of time. And the drawback of this move is that it undefends the central square, which allows me, if I want, to push. He has it defended twice, but we have 3. If we can create the ideal pawn center, we do it. Why? Look how strong it is. And not only where it is, but always the potential to push with tempo down all the lines. Very annoying to deal with. So he moves his queen, eyes the king, but he's not developed. Maybe he's threatening something like this. It's a possibility. His king's still stuck in the center though. I'm not 100% convinced for him that any of that's good. He is hitting this pawn. Something else to notice. So what do we want to do? I don't particularly mind him taking it. But there's no, I mean, I'm just gonna go play a forcing move in the center, a good looking forcing move now that I'm nicely developed. Hitting the knight can't jump in without hanging. He goes here threatening checkmate in 1. I mentioned this, so I obviously saw it. You could definitely go here and give up the rook, but I don't think you even I wasn't planning on that, but you probably can. I was planning on going knight h5, hitting the queen. Because the queen can't stay on this file, meaning the pin, he can't keep the pin, which means his bishop will be hanging at some point. He can counterattack my knight. It's a possibility as well. And if I take his bishop and he takes my knight, what did he just take? He took a pawn. But, okay, this also attacks my knight, so it makes sense. This, again, is not checkmate. This knight's hanging, and this bishop's hanging. And the queen is in a weird spot. Awfully suspicious position, I'll say that much. Something's very weird. But I'm just going to keep it simple. I'm just going to take the bishop. My radar was going off, but I don't have any time. I'm always running out of time. I have 2 minutes on my clock. I never get to enjoy these positions I get. I never get to calculate and stew and find good moves. So he goes knight c3, but this diagonal's super weak. This looks like a move. This looks like a move. I think I want to get my queen in as quick as possible. His queen does not have any checks. I'm moving kind of quickly because of my clock. I definitely want my queen centralized, which it is. It's beautiful. And now it comes with ridiculous threats, because if there was a pawn here on b2 defending this knight, completely different story. But as it is on b4, his position is wrecked with my queen here. So he goes here, but I mean, it threatens the b pawn, but that's obviously irrelevant. It protects the knight, which is relevant. We can try and displace the queen. We can try and add pressure to the knight. We can give a check. Actually, giving a check takes away his castling rights. So I'm just going to throw in the check so he has to move his king, and then I'll do whatever else. Because I don't want him castling if I can avoid it. If I can prevent that, he's just donzo, right? Because rook here, bishop here, queen here. Okay, so he does move his king, but now I get in free moves like rook checks at least. Without any calculation, I'm bringing in another piece, development for free, center, king safety. Okay, his king's on the run. If you just check it, it hides even further. I'm just going to add a second attacker real quick, and it also acts as a defender, which is beautiful. It's gorgeous on the g7 square. He has to basically like defend the knight somehow, and then I have to figure out how not to flag. That's the goal. I don't know, making random moves, but I mean, I have such crazy pieces. He can't even put his rook here to challenge my queen. I mean, he really can't do much. Maybe he can move the knight now, but here? I mean, I don't even care. I'll just take this. I also can just bring him out of the rook at some point. There's always this, so he never has anything against my king. Also, king h8 is 1000% safe, since the diagonal is protected by me. And although we have 50 seconds, okay, he does move his knight. I'm just going to snap take with no calculation. And now we have coordination on the dark squares. And this is the whole concept behind development, is so that mathematically you can control this many squares, which is the whole. And if his king is anywhere in the vicinity, it's a goner. Wait, so he moves his king to the center. He's trying to go the other way. Whatever. I'm running out of time. Free move with check. Maybe this. Maybe this knight actually defends some dark squares, which is funny. My light square bishop is not doing anything. I would love to employ it, but hitting the queen is useless at the moment. I want to like get it in with a banger. Now that the rook's here, I do have this move. He defends this way. No time, just take. No time to calculate. I guess I'll just throw in some random checks for the clock. Sure, check. I'm gonna take that. And then I'm gonna pin his queen. Again, not calculating. So if he takes this, no, he can't do that. If he takes this, he can't do that. This comes with a check, so his counterattack doesn't work. And now we take the knight with check. We have 20 seconds, but that should be enough now that we took his army. We'll throw a check, a crisscross check. Oops. We'll just move our king up real quickly while I think. How do I beat this guy? What do I need to do? Sorry for not talking, my brain can't process. Please hold. Oh wait. I don't have time. His hesitation's killing me. There's no way I can checkmate him like this. But if I get another queen, I definitely can checkmate him. If I get 2 more queens... I need his rook. I need his stupid rook. I need to sack my queen for his rook. That's what I'm gonna do. Keep the alignment, friend. Keep the alignment. Come on, come on. Come on, move. You're killing me. Actually, no, he can't move his king because of my bishop. So this alignment's stuck, so I can pre-move something else. I take the rook. I get a queen with 5 seconds. Take the pawn. Hopefully he does not move his king to that pawn. He does. Awesome. Worst pre-move ever. Take this. I do not like 10-minute games. They are way too short. Oh my god. Oof. But on Lead Chess, they give you like 1/10 of a second pre-move, so you can make a ton of moves if you pre-move. So if you simplify and then you know the king and pawn endgame, you can pre-move the whole thing basically. I don't like you can't multiple pre-move, like many moves in a row, but still. Okay, so we win that game, barely by 3 seconds. So let's go through it quickly. We have center, and we have development. We have development and center. We have development and center. Now we have development, or improving a piece, excuse me, for free, which means you're not wasting time because it's for free. It's for free because it's forcing. And now we have a forcing line that immediately wins a pawn. So you don't think in general vague terms of center, whatever. You have a tactical sequence that wins an important pawn. You do that. And now, not to hang our knight, we go back. Center, development, development, king safety, king safety, development. And again, notice I hung this pawn on purpose. If he takes it, you just don't care. I mean, you can take this and get your pawn back. You can move. Oops. You can move your rook over. Like, this pawn's not important necessarily, especially if you get to get your bishop on this diagonal. You have the only light squared bishop, so that would be kind of hard for him to deal with, right? He goes here. We definitely take the center, right? Look how beautiful our position looks. Black has to be a lot better here. And then you definitely have more accurate moves. What did I even do? Oh yeah, I pushed. Now you have to, when you do something like bishop h6, you have to really calculate beforehand because you're leaving your knight hanging. So you have to make sure it works. You have to make sure that g6, right? You take a rook. Maybe take the knight. Like, let's put on the analysis board. Yeah, g6 is minus 2.5 for black. So black is still completely winning with g6. I mentioned it in the game that, so what, he takes your rook. Now he's giving up his other bishop. And you have to understand these rooks, for many, many moves, are not going to be doing anything. They're stuck in the corner behind their pawns. These bishops are much more powerful early and mid-game. So giving this up, you just lose all your bishops. You have so many weaknesses. Your rooks aren't, intimidating. Not good. But yeah, we have other knight jumps. You have to calculate a lot of stuff if you're going to play a move like this. What did we do? We went with this one. Okay, so just minus 3.5. So completely winning. And then here, taking either piece is exactly the same. So that's good. I didn't want to even waste time calculating. Good thing I didn't. And then we just played a sequence of forced moves. This is all tactical. This is all a sequence. I highly recommend doing puzzles. I highly recommend Puzzle Rush Survival, not the timed ones. Timing yourself is dumb. It makes no sense. It's not going to help you improve. Do the other one. And if you get tired or you don't feel like doing it, just stop. That's your timer. But don't try to force yourself to do a puzzle because there's a clock ticking, Sit there and figure it out. So anyway, development center, -6. And the rest of the game is basically just over. I know some of you have trouble, even if it's -6, you may have trouble converting, but the general concept is to develop your pieces towards the center, right? So this move is towards the center. The rooks, you can bring those in towards the center. Do that and then see if there's anything in their position if you're not sure what to do. But there's a clear target here, so, so you can easily make forcing moves. This improves the piece because it improves the bishop as well as gets out of the way for the rook, so it improves 2 pieces, and it's for free because it hits the knight, so that's why it's the best move. So that's where these best moves come from. At least from a human perspective, we have to logically deduce and conclude the best move that way. We throw in this check, and the reason I threw it in is because if you look at this, right, he can't move the knight because the rook hangs in the corner. If the queen goes back, the knight hangs, so the queen would have to go here or his king has to move. If the queen goes here, you can take it, he can take it, you can then pin the knight. Also, his position is just completely ruined, so that's why I did it. Moving the king is, of course, worse than blocking with the queen. It's -16, and the game's just over. So there's that. Do some Puzzle Rush Survival. Let me know what number you get to. I hope this helps your chess. Thank you for all the positive feedback.